It has become quite evident that the Vikings wide receiver 3 battle or position just got more wide open and more interesting. Now, background, I hate to say this because it's just awful news. Olabisi Johnson, former 7th round pick out of Colorado, has torn his ACL. Now, the thing with Olabisi Johnson, I have to be 100% honest here. I've loved him ever since he came out. I thought he was absolutely a firecracker that you don't see out of a lot of 7th round draft picks, especially for a guy that came from a smaller school. But he actually has done some great things. Colorado State, excuse me. But at the end of the day, a guy that was a former 7th round draft pick has caught 45 balls for 483 yards and 3 touchdowns in the NFL. His rookie year, he looked like he was going to take over Chad Beebe for that number 3 wide receiver position, but it just didn't quite work out. Then last year, obviously started the first 2 games of the NFL season, and then Justin Jefferson went ham throughout the rest of the season, and you can be nothing but ecstatic about that. But you talk about a guy that had a major impact for the Vikings, always ran good routes, good size, good hands, everything. I think he's going to be a fantastic player moving forward in the NFL, especially like a really, really, really good possession wide receiver. But I'm excited to see what he does. But I just wish for nothing for him a speedy recovery, because I think he's going to be a big part of the Vikings' future moving forward. But what does this injury do for the Vikings wide receiver 3 position? Well, there's a couple things. Number one, we've already talked ad nauseum about some of the different wide receivers that were already coming in without the Olabisi Johnson injury. You talk about Smith-Marsette, the 5th round pick out of Iowa, who I loved. He's a deep threat guy that, in my mind, played with subpar quarterback play at best, and I understand why that there's a lot of expectations put on him this year, because especially from a field stretching perspective, I think he could come out and absolutely just shock the nation. You also got KJ Osborne there, who has had himself a great mini camp, has had himself a great training camp. I've seen nothing but highlights on Twitter and everything, and just from the Vikings own organization about how this man is just coming out and doing the thing. So you talk about another former 5th round pick out of Miami, former Hurricane up there doing his thing. So you've also got other wide receivers like WR3, like we've talked about, Blake Prohl, and Chad Beebe, who I think he's the favorite to win it, but I definitely don't think that it is. But it's far from over. He's like the slight favorite. He's like just tiny favorite. He's not the actual legitimate definitely going to win it favorite. This is a wide open position battle. You talk about KJ Osborne again. Even Myron Mitchell showing out a little bit during, I think it was Saturday's practice, Sunday's practice, whatever it was, when the Vikings were only down to one quarterback. That's right, Jake Browning balled out, by the way, absolutely balled out. But again, you also talk about the plethora of wide receivers. Now, obviously, after Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, it's pretty much wide open. And you also got D.D. Westbrook in the building, who's kind of recovering from that ACL injury, who, by the way, I think is going to, once he gets on the field, I think he could potentially, honestly, revive his career in the NFL once he's fully healthy and everything is good to go. Now, that could mean bad news for ISM, KJ Osborne, also Dan Chisena, who played the majority of his snaps, or the majority of his playing time last year was on special teams. And you also could talk about a guy like, we covered Myron Mitchell, Wap Filio, all those guys. So at the end of the day, I personally think that it would be D.D. Westbrook who could come out here and just absolutely take it over. But don't count out ISM, don't count out KJ Osborne, because this wide receiver 3 battle is wide open, no pun intended, when it comes to wide receivers. Because I think this could be a really interesting, play, if you will, to see how it all plays out, because there's a lot of good wide receivers. There's a lot of good, things that could happen here for the Vikings. And what does competition do? It only brings out the best in this. So I think this wide receiver 3 battle for the Minnesota Vikings is nothing but wide open, and I'm 125% excited to see how it all plays out. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Make sure you guys also check out our website at thesportsbeatpodcast.com. Give us a like and follow on all social media platforms, which you will find all those links down in the description below. Make sure you guys also give us a sub and a listen on iTunes as well. And if you have anything you'd like us to cover, make sure you send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com. But let us know what you guys think about the Vikings wide receiver 3 position being wide open.